Greetings, colleagues. This is the first video in a series in which ways to complement various components of the Danielson Evaluation Framework in a virtual setting are covered. This series will deal specifically with the Google Classroom LMS, and as such, we'll review the various tools that LMS has to offer first. Let's start with the most basic elements and then move on to the more complex. Go to this plus sign to create a class, and fill in the appropriate fields, which include the name of the class, section, and room number and subject. Once set up, under the Stream tab, you will notice the space where you can share things with the class. You can type various messages, and you'll also notice that you can add documents, links to websites, files from your computer, and/or videos from YouTube. And if you click over here, you can choose to share this post with other select classes as well. You can also choose to only share this with select students. Under the Classwork tab, you will see the Create button, which allows you to make different assessment types. We are starting with the assignments here, in which you can also attach different documents and/or video. If you want to add a YouTube video, for instance, just click on the YouTube icon, type the name of the video, and click on the appropriate result. You can also click here to add various types of files. This will allow you to select a file from your drive, and this will allow you to select a file from your computer. And if you go to the Google Drive option in the drop-down, you get the same options. And on the right here, you will see that you can also select what classes and students to which you are assigning this as well. And down below here, we have the rubric generator. You type the name and criteria here, and then a point value, and what the point value indicates goes in the fields below. Clicking the plus icon on the right allows you to create another point value for that same piece of criteria. You can continue to add point values that are associated with different levels of proficiency for that piece of criteria, and once you are done with that, you can create another piece of criteria here. Just duplicate the criteria and change the name of it in the appropriate field, and you can edit the description of the level associated with this particular point value in the description section. You can also change the order in which the different scores and levels of each piece of criteria appear. And this is how the rubric will look on your end. You can also reuse rubrics that you have created for other previous assignments or assignments in other classes. And this is the student view of the rubric with the pieces of criteria on the side. Below will be a section to add private comments that only the student can see. And above that, you will see that you can run originality reports on students' work by clicking. You will have to have enabled that when creating the assignment, and if there are no plagiarized passages, it will not flag any segments of the student's work. If there are, however, the report will indicate how many, and when you click, it will highlight the plagiarized passage, matching it to its original source. Also note that you are able to leave comments on whatever type of documents students choose to create in response to the assignment. As soon as you leave a comment on the student's doc by highlighting it and clicking on the comment icon, the comment is visible to the student, even if the document contains work that is in progress. Once students see the comment, they are able to reply. This works essentially the same way on slides, where you can click on an image or a segment of text in the slide or in the speaker notes, and click on the comment icon to leave a comment. And when the students click on a particular element on which a comment was left, that comment moves to the forefront. Students will also be able to identify which slides have comments on them, as dialog boxes will appear beside those particular slides in the slide navigation pane. You can do the same on a Google Sheet by clicking on a particular cell and clicking on the comment icon, and after you leave a comment, it will be visible when the cursor is hovering over the cell to which the comment pertains. And the fact that a cell contains a comment will be noted by this marker in the corner of the cell. And the same applies to a Google drawing, in which you can click on any elements of the drawing, whether they be shapes or text boxes, to leave a comment. If you click on a quiz assignment, a Google form will automatically be generated and attached to the assignment. And when you click on the blank quiz, you can create a variety of question types. And when you click on the drop-down menu, you see this variety. Let's just make this a checkbox question. After adding all of the options, you can click down here and add an answer key, which will actually allow you to not only mark off the correct answer, but you can also provide feedback for the answer to the question should the student respond inaccurately. In this section, you can also link resources such as websites and YouTube videos. and those resources will appear to the student for incorrect answers when the form provides them with their feedback. Google Forms also allows you to add resources to the form itself. If you click on the YouTube icon, for instance, it will allow you to search for the video. Once you've found it, click on the video and it is embedded into the form. Upon receiving responses from students, you can click on the Responses tab where you will be provided with much valuable data, such as central tendency measures for scores, and data that provides a sense of which items were responded to accurately or inaccurately. You can also create questions. You will pose the question in this space and provide instructions. As with the assignments, you can also create resources students might have to reference for the question, or you can add them from your Google Drive or computer. You have these two question types from which you can choose. I'll just make this a multiple choice question. This is how the question will appear to students, and when you click here to see responses, you will see how many students selected a particular item. A list of students would also be displayed on the left for you to see individual answers. Next, the material option will allow you to generate an assortment of resources for students. As with all of the other assignment types, you can add videos, links to websites, and files from your computer or drive. The only difference is that you are not necessarily providing students with any questions, prompts, or tasks to which they must respond. And lastly, you can create topics. Topics essentially allows you to organize resources and assignments more efficiently. Notice that after I've created this topic that I have entitled Project Resources, an empty folder appears. This is because I haven't designated this topic to any assignments, quizzes, questions, etc. So let's click here to edit the material that I just posted on the top here, and click on the drop-down menu for topics, where all created topics will be listed. Now you'll see that the material that I have entitled Resources for Reference is now under the Project Resources topic. Essentially, all assignments, questions, quizzes, and material that have been designated to a certain topic will appear under that topic. So if I create another topic, like this one, which I'm entitling Splitting an Atom, and I create new material, perhaps by adding a relevant YouTube video for students to reference, I can designate the Splitting an Atom topic to it, and it will only appear under that topic. Note that you can designate topics to any of the different postings that you create, whether they be assignments, quizzes, questions, or material. The teacher and students can also leave comments on each of those posting types, and if you click here, you can mute students and delete comments, and teachers and students can specifically reply to one another. Also keep in mind that any Google Documents, slides, sheets, or drawings that are posted will allow for tracking of viewership of the documents. By clicking on this icon, an activity dashboard will appear, and you can see who has viewed the documents and when the last viewing was. So, if you posted a doc under materials or assignments that all or specific students were to view, you can clearly see if they had or had not viewed it and when their latest viewing of the document was. And this envelope icon here allows you to send a mass email either to all of your students or only those who have not yet viewed the documents. Now on to the Google Calendar link, which is also available under the Classwork tab. If you first apply assignment dates to assignments and quizzes, and then you click on the Google Calendar link, you will see that assignment's due date reflected in the calendar. Here you see the assignment I just edited along with the summer reading projects. Notice how the assignment names are color-coded to correspond with their different classes. Students will see the due dates for all of their assignments for each of their classes reflected as well. When you hover over the assignment, the name and description of the assignment that you created appears. Now on to the Google Meet link, which also appears under the Classwork tab. You can click here to generate a Meet link, which will appear here under the Classroom Stream page. Students should be able to click on it from here as well. You'll then be brought to this page, where you or participants can choose to turn off their camera and or their mic before entering the session. And when your participants enter, others will be able to either see them or their avatars. As a presenter, you have the option of entering present mode, where you can share either your entire computer screen or a particular window or tab you might have open. If you opt for the latter two options, this pop-up window will appear with a list of your open tabs or windows, and you can select which one you want your participants to see. You can also provide captions for what is being spoken during the meeting. There is a bit of a delay, and I did not record the audio, but you see the captions appearing to denote what I spoke. You can also record meetings. When you're ready to stop recording, click Stop Recording, and the recording will be automatically saved to your Google Drive. After processing, the recording will appear in your email. You can also create breakout rooms to divide the participants in the Google Meet into smaller groups, and you could use the Google Meet and Breakout Room browser extension for this. I'll demonstrate where to go to get this extension in a moment, but once activated and you click on the icon, you will see a list of all the attendees here. Then you can go to the group generator, indicate how many groups in this dropdown, and there are no participants, so I'll just add myself as a participant and repeat the process. And then you'll see me in that one group, and would there have been more participants here, each group would be appropriately populated. And then when you click on the individual groups, new tabs will be open, so you can join these smaller meets in which each group of students is. And then you can join those meetings to check up on them. In order to get the appropriate browser extensions to create breakout rooms, you can go to the Windows section from your Chrome browser, and then go to Extensions. There are two that you will need to make this work: Google Meet Attendees in Breakout Rooms, and Google Meet Grid View, and you could search for them and add them.